Hi, my name's Arlene. I wanted to take a minute to share with everybody a little bit about my family's autism journey and how we found out our son was autistic. I created this page specifically for that because I know there's a lot of parents out there who are trying to search and figure out what could possibly be going on with their child when they suspect autism but aren't really sure just yet and haven't got that diagnosis. I'm not going to share my whole story just yet. I'll share some bits and pieces, but I just want you to know that you're not alone. I've heard from other people also, because I ask for their stories, that a lot of times we are going through the exact same things, but it's nice to hear that you're not alone. So, my son currently, right now, is 9 years old and in fourth grade. When my son was younger, I always had a feeling that something was a little bit different with him. Um, I honestly felt like he was autistic from the age of 1, but I wasn't positive. And every time that I would ask either my pediatrician, like, hey, he's 1 year old, he started talking, he stopped talking all of a sudden, it seemed like overnight, I would get, okay, well, we'll just give him some time. Well, I mean, it was my first child and it was the doctor. I figured she knew more than I did, even though I was really concerned that it could be autism. And knowing how important early intervention was, I just kept bringing it up at every single well check that he had. And I would continually be told, we'll check, we'll watch, we'll monitor. So, anyways, I clearly remember he was 1 year old. We took a trip to California. He was talking, he was saying like 2 word sentences. What's that? That's the one that I really remember. He would say, Mom. And we were on the plane and he was pointing out the window asking, what's that? Well, that was the last time I heard him talk. It took him until he was 3 years old and in speech therapy to begin talking again. I knew something was wrong. As a parent, in your heart, regardless if it's your first child or your fifth child, something's wrong. And you really need to listen to that intuition, because I feel like that's what kept me going and pushing towards getting some sort of answer to what was going on with my son. Well, anyways, long story short, it wasn't again until I think it was first grade. Like every single school year, I would ask the teachers. And as a teacher myself, I know you're not really supposed to let it out and say, hey, I think your child has autism. Um, so I would ask the teachers, working with them. But of course, like I said, as a teacher, you just can't say that to a parent, even if they ask. So it took a couple years, and it wasn't until first grade, and I was a first grade teacher at that point in time. And he was in the same grade level as me in the classroom right across the hall. So I would be able to see on my own his behavior compared to his classmates' behavior. And I knew, oh my goodness, there's something going on. There's seriously something wrong here. Socially, he is just so different from my first graders that I had in my classroom, the first graders that were in his class. Um, and luckily, at that point in time, the person who was his first grade teacher was also a teammate of mine, and we had conversations. I mentioned my concerns, and finally somebody saw what I had seen. And just hearing that I wasn't going crazy, that there was actually something going on and somebody else saw it, not just me, and they weren't going to tell me, oh, he's just a boy, oh, he's just growing up, oh, we think he has ADHD, oh, this, oh, that. No, they were straightforward with me and said, you know what, I see some of the things that you're mentioning. I see that your son, has trouble with boundaries. I see that he's doing things that other first graders aren't doing. I just about cried. I was so happy. It was mixed emotions. It's happy that somebody sees the same thing that you see, but then at the same time, it's the realization that, there's something going on, but we still don't have a name to it. Even though you believe that it's autism, there's no diagnosis just yet. Um, It was a really long road from that moment on, but I can tell you now, things are so much easier. My son is getting all of the support that he needs, making great progress. We've had our ups and downs, but it's just really listening to that inner voice telling you, you know what, something is wrong, something's different. Don't let people make you believe that everything's okay when as the parent, nobody knows your child better than you do. So if you feel like something's going on, you take action on that. You figure out what that is or what you think that is. And if you keep hearing no, 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 it doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that you have to find that one person who's going to be completely honest with you. So I would love to go into my story a little further, but I think for right now, that's all I'm going to share. And I hope that you feel comfortable enough to share your story too.